So today we'll be watching the Destiny 2 ViDoc Light in the Darkness. Just got released today. By the time this is out, probably tomorrow, you'll be yesterday. It gets convoluted, but I'm going to talk today because I'm watching it today. The parts I did watch were with experienced players breaking it down, so I thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot. See what a new player can make of it, because some of it looks super confusing. But anyway, we'll watch it from the beginning and then we'll see how it goes. So off we go. And here we go.
I know what you're wondering.
She doesn't.
What is true and what is false?
Jump scare's nice.
The Witch Queen is an unsettling mystery. Our biggest foe, Savathun, has our grandest tool, the light.
Okay.
It's paying off narrative threads that we planted way back in Destiny 1.
Oh. Long goal then.
I'm here to protect humanity.
How do we stop this?
The stakes in the universe are rising, and it's the greatest challenge that we've ever faced.
Did they say that every expansion? I have a feeling they probably do.
Of light equals good, darkness equals bad. We're really entering the...
But light does equal good. And darkness does equal bad. I'm confused by that statement. They're trying to say Savathun's good? So confusing. Anyway, carry on.
Miss and trying to discern what's in front of us and what's lurking just underneath the surface.
What is your truth now?
There are a lot of bombshells in the Witch Queen narrative.
Cool.
And that's just scratching the surface of what we're going to get into this year.
I'll be honest, the parts I've seen look pretty cool.
And Season of the Risen is Chapter 1 and the beginning of the end for the Light and Darkness saga.
Season of the Risen is the first season, so that's season 16. Season Risen. Season off the Risen. Okay, okay.
We're really getting to the core of what it means to be a guardian. We are looking at and asking big questions about the light and darkness.
We have a big bad that we've been anticipating for a really long time coming back in the form of Savathun.
Savathun's had a hand in most of the major conflicts that we've been involved with.
We've heard about Savathun for years and just bits and pieces, and then like you see it slowly building over seasons until we come to this huge critical point.
Savathun's no longer just someone you hear about.
She's not just interfering in little ways. She's now ready to take center stage.
Ooh.
Slate. 1, 2, 3.
Savathun, she's larger than life. We wanted to make her feel imposing and very regal and dancing through motion in some way.
The light offers us a fresh start.
She's very manipulative. She is very ethereal, but she also...
To be honest with you, I don't really know who Savathun is. You know, she's the big baddie, and she's been encased in some weird little ice tomb by Mara Sov, but I don't really know who she is. I probably need to look into the lore of this game a little bit more. Maybe. I might understand some of the story a bit better then. Cool.
Also has like that creepiness to her as well.
She promised she'd help us out with this pyramid ship problem that's coming our way. But the reality of the situation is Savathun is only on Savathun's side. We've outlived our purpose, and it is to Savathun's benefit to wipe us off that chessboard.
She's lived among us. She has played us for fools. She knows us inside and out. And she's been a step ahead of us, like, the whole way. So how do you beat someone like that?
It isn't too late. You can still be forgiven. Be careful.
I'll hold you to it.
In order to beat Savathun, you need to understand Savathun.
Her throne world is a manifestation of Savathun's own personality, which is in Witch Queen going through a transformation through the light.
She has these areas that she's kind of trying to shun and push away.
She is. Okay.
For the old hive areas, it's much more atmospheric. It's very dense. It's very...
We'll be honest with you, some of that looks really, really cool. Like you said, it is pretty atmospheric, but they do a nice job, actually.
Then when you make your way into the Lucent Hive area, it's a lot more open and broad. It's definitely brighter. It's definitely more lively.
And cobwebs. It's cobwebs.
We want people to look at it like an impressionist painting, something that's very pretty from far away, but as you get closer, it's not really what it seems. It's very unsettling.
It's ugly. Ew.
You're looking at shapes, you're looking at these things within the world, and you're not entirely sure what they are, and you have to get close and you have to investigate.
What's really going to be exciting for players is that they're going to get to play that part of psychic detective, trying to solve the many mysteries of the throne world.
Witch Queen campaign, I think, is probably the most ambitious campaign we've made in a very long time.
I hope so, because I'm going to be honest with you, I never really had I played the Europa campaign, was the one I played, and it was alright. I suppose maybe it's because I was rushing through it just to try and get stuff done that I needed to get done, but this hopefully will be different. This will be my first expansion where I've been at it from the start, so hopefully it is good, and it's actually good to see it unlock week by week as it's meant to be played, I suppose, rather than just everything rushed like it was, because I wasn't paying much attention to the story before. So anyway, I'll stop talking.
We're building the Definitively Destiny campaign, so leaning into the journey you can find in exotic missions or the mechanics you might find in a dungeon.
You have to kind of think your way through. You have to figure out, like, hey, what do I need to do next in order to get to the end of this?
Hopefully not jump puzzles. I hope not jump puzzles.
We've got Savathun, right? The Queen of Lies. So this campaign is full of surprises.
Savathun has all these abilities, and you got to make sure that all of the abilities of the bosses would be something worthy of her. And as I kept thinking about this, you know, I felt like I was really becoming Savathun.
Hope not, love.
We've also
I
added
hope
the
not.
legendary difficulty, which is called Become Legend.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's going to be loaded with these moments that are going to be frustrating, almost like teeth gnashing, but when you get through those encounters, you're going to feel like really accomplished.
Double rewards, yeah.
As people who have worked on raids and dungeons before, being able to broaden that experience for any kind of player who comes in is really important.
If the Witch Queen is the psychic, detective, fantasy, and journey, then Season of the Risen is that same detective throwing on their flak jacket and defending Earth from the Hive Guardians and the Lucent Hive and Savathun herself.
I don't understand any of that
When Savathun shows up on
analogy.
our doorstep with the light, the first person to lend us help is Keitel.
You want us to hit them.
I like her.
I need us to hit them.
She's got this light suppressing technology that the Cabal were using in Season of the Chosen, and now she's going to help us use that against the Lucent Hive.
I didn't play that
Working
season.
with Keitel, she has a different approach. It's not about asking questions, it's about getting in there and extracting.
We don't really understand what happened when Savathun actually was able to take light. So the campaign in Season of the Risen in many ways is about that story. Guardians need to stop Savathun's advance beyond the throne world. And Savathun poses an existential threat to everyone because she basically has an undead army.
In fighting the Lucent Brood, this isn't our first time in the game fighting other light bearers, but it is the first time that we'll be facing other light bearers that have much more relentless motives.
Okay. I never fought the last time that happened, so I have no idea.
Guardians, and when they do their abilities, you immediately make that connection like, oh, they are using my powers against me. As soon as we see the Knight pop its super and it has 2 shields, you immediately are like, oh yeah, I see that connection! And then it's like...
2 shields. Each spec has 2 shields. Yeah, I haven't seen these 2 shields before, so I literally have no clue what the hell's happening here, but maybe that's in one of the new things that's coming out in the next expansion. Okay.
And then you're like, it hits you with those things, and then you're dead, and it's just an amazing experience.
The Guardians themselves kind of feel like a fire team that you're fighting against. You got every class represented.
The Acolyte, when that character casts, does very similar thing as the player, like the Arc Wizard. The sparks go out.
These dudes get right into this, man.
If you're not
they really
smart
do.
About it, if you're not paying attention, you are essentially going to have to play that fight over again.
If you're successful in taking down one of these hive units that are wielding the light, you actually have to go up and kill their ghosts.
That was like one of my favorite things that we were able to do in this
they have
game.
ghosts.
Is just that moment where you crush the ghost.
It's kind of this moral dilemma. A ghost is your companion, and now suddenly you have one in your hand and you're about to crush it.
The first time it happens, you're like looking at your hand like, I can't believe what I've just done. Am I doing this? Should I be doing this?
I have a ghost.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What
does this mean?
we
Savathun
ghost
or
crushing.
Lucent Brood are the most dangerous enemies we've faced so far.
We should be allowed to do that in PvP. Actually kill people for real. That'd be great.
And so we're going to need better, more powerful weapons and tools to fight against that threat.
Obviously.
We did a bunch of work early on looking at various different types of weapons we could add to the sandbox.
We wanted to introduce a special weapon archetype that was effective more at a middle range, but also had these kind of additional roles associated with it.
Oh, this is the glaive. This is the one that looks really, really cool.
And it is a shield, and it's a melee weapon.
It's literally everything.
Experience in first person. It has an immediacy that you don't really get when you're using a sword because the camera is so much further back. Because this is all.
Okay, so when you use the glaive, you're going to be in first person view, unlike a sword when you can be in third person view. Then the glaive can also shoot and drop shields as well. Okay, I'm so confused. But anyway, okay.
So a projectile weapon with a slower moving projectile. The onus of skill on aiming these weapons is about leading and compensating for the speed of the projectile and anticipating that.
Okay.
If you're in a really difficult encounter and one of your teammates dies somewhere out in the open where you normally wouldn't be able to get to them, you can bring that shield up and actually get the revive and then fall back.
That's cool.
Glaives originate with
It's like the Titan shield.
Trying to steal an extremely powerful weapon for her own use, and players will use the weapon crafting recipes that they find throughout the campaign in order to reconstruct this incredibly powerful and incredibly ancient weapon.
That's going to be
When
cool.
you put together your glaive in the campaign, you just get a taste that that's what you want to do for the rest of the weapons that you get.
Weapon crafting lets you target a specific role and go and build that, and you know how long it's going to take you to get there, and you get exactly the thing that you want.
I really want to see what people do with it, and like the feedback that we're gonna get, and people sharing all of the things that.
Oh, that's the weapon crafting. Okay.
You're creating your guardian, and you want to be able to shape your guardian into what you want them to be, and this gives us a great opportunity to continue to do that.
That does sound a lot like some of the stuff that you get in WoW, in World of Warcraft. And I'm saying does sound like, but in World of Warcraft, they talk like that, and then when it actually comes out, it's nothing like that. You can do whatever you want, but then there's like 101 limitations that you can't do. So hopefully, if they're saying you can literally do whatever you want, that would be good to actually do whatever you want. I would imagine they're probably not going to let you do 100% whatever you want, but we'll see. If we do, that'd be fantastic. But I have a feeling there'll be certain overpowered combinations on this that will, I suppose, depending on your role you want to play with the glaive, mean that you'll have to go down that specific one. It's like anything, there's always going to be meta classes, meta stuff, cookie cutter builds, whatever. So, be interesting to see. It sounds cool, we'll be honest with you, because a lot of the drops in Bungie are completely random. You're farming the same one just for the same drop to be eventually get round. Whereas this way, it's actually allowing you to specifically farm and build a weapon to the way you like. So that could be cool. But we'll see. We'll see anyway in 2 weeks.
This is a really big season for weapons in particular. We've got 8 brand new exotics. The Osteostreaker exotic submachine gun.
I like submachine guns. I'm looking forward to this one.
After Weapons of Sorrow, like
I'm not allowed to play with submachine guns very often. You know who I'm talking about, little man. You stop me playing with my submachine gun because it's not good enough. Anyway.
Thorn and Touch Malice fires swarms of tiny homing projectiles that land
That's
on
cool.
the target and then explode in this poison burst.
That's cool.
We have an exotic machine gun where the whole idea is be the Colossus. You can launch a barrage
Look at that
of
bad
up to
boy.
20 homing missiles.
It's a comical amount of projectiles on the screen.
I know one very happy lady that will be wanting to play with that gun. And I don't blame her because it looks cool as anything. I really hope machine guns and submachine guns become the meta at some point. That would be fantastic. I'd be happy.
We're doing an exotic glaive for each class this time, and the exotic perks tie deeply into the mechanics of the classes. We think they're going to be really cool additions to build crafting.
So one for
We've got,
hunters,
the usual
one
suite
for
of raid
titans,
weapons, destination, activity, seasonal,
and one for warlocks.
I think it's about 50 new weapons.
You're going to have 2 new exotic armors for each class, totaling 6, 1 stasis, 1 non-stasis. The Titan stasis exotic. Cast your barricade, and instead of, this Traveler's Light and the Rally Barricade, you create a giant wall of ice. Even though this thing is massive, you still get all the benefits of a Rally Barricade.
That's cool. That looks like the wall from Game of Thrones. That's all I'm going to say on that one. You said, what ice wall? I'm thinking Game of Thrones. Yeah. You need a dragon to break this thing down. Maybe Savathun's a dragon. Big brain.
Warlock Void exotic. We called them the Devouring Rift legs because we wanted Empowering Rift to feel like it had a place in endgame content the way that Healing Rift does. Empowering Rift doesn't heal you. Well, what if it did?
What? So Empowering Rift is going to heal you and
see a massive revamp to the Void
give you damage
system across all three classes. This is a huge update and will allow players to build craft in ways.
Oh, so they're going to make Void do the same thing as Stasis with allowing you to add extra aspects and stuff. So this is Void 3.0, which they talked about in some of the TWABs, but I'm going to be honest with you. If that's Void 3.0 and we've currently got Void 2.0, what the hell was Void 1.0? I am so confused. Okay. I wonder if they're going to make the Solar one and the Arc one go like this as well then. Interesting anyway. It'd be interesting. It gives it more variety, I suppose, than... Well, does it give it more variety? I don't know. I haven't really used Stasis too much, but it confused me. I know I got to throw ice stuff around. Anyway, I'm talking again.
That they've never done before.
One of the things we wanted to do is create a core set of verbs like we did with Stasis.
Anyone can run suppressors now. I think that's the pretty cool thing to be able to do.
I'm going to be running suppressor grenade
probably. We wanted you to feel
That'd be
like
interesting.
you were the energy vampire, feel like you were the Night Stalker, feel like you were that protector, that big Sentinel Titan. So
I do like being a Titan.
Like Bastion, the new Titan aspect, where you take your big old Sentinel shield, slam it into the ground, and create this void barricade that's going to
That looks quite cool.
to you and your buddies.
Oh, overshield.
My favorite aspect is probably Child of the Old Gods. As this warlock controlling space and time, I'm able to rip a hole into another dimension and then pull out this little like sentient black hole.
You said a sentient black hole. I'm not sure that's a good thing. Black holes are dangerous, yo.
Whenever I target an enemy, my little black hole buddy is going to fly over there and start draining their life force.
That's quite cool.
The Void 3.0 update is really setting the stage for how we're thinking about updating the subclasses for the rest of the year.
Right, so there you go. So they're going to be looking at maybe seeing how that goes and then, by the sounds of it, applying it to Solar and to Arc as well. Okay, that could be quite cool. That would be less confusing than having Stasis one way and the other three the other way. But now we're going to have Stasis and Void one way and the other two the other way. Hopefully they'll eventually fix that so that they're all running that way. Make life so much easier for new players coming in, rather than having to learn one set for one way and another set for the other two. Okay. I'm not sure why they're doing it in dribs and drabs when it just do all three at the same time. Maybe it's just a lot of work. I don't know. Okay, anyway.
We're going to extend this philosophy to Solar and Arc. Solar obviously is going to be about burning, but there's this other component
Great
to
minds,
Solar,
genius.
and that's healing. Arc is all about chaining. It's all about lightning, direct attacks, quickness.
Solar's healing.
The fantasies that you know and love today, we're going to embellish them. So what you'll see is like all of the new abilities, all the new actions you take, reinforce that to the core. Pretty excited about it.
Language, young man. Language.
Witch Queen is very much the culmination of the last 6 to 7 years of just Destiny altogether. And really, this is starting the road to the final showdown. But things aren't necessarily just dark and light anymore. There's a lot more nuance in the game.
It's
Cinematics
a real fight. Players have something that they're really going to be challenged by.
I can't wait for everyone to find out what's been going on with Savathun. Like, I'm excited.
You Guardians are so clever, aren't you?
Yes, I like to think of myself as clever.
The throne world, to the campaign, to the customizable build crafting, it all comes together to make Destiny feel really new and fresh.
We've got more Destiny coming this year than any other year before. It's one of the most ambitious releases we've ever put together, and the team is firing on all cylinders.
Tell me, Guardian, what do you think you're going to do?
That's cool. Okay, that is pretty cool. Right, so lots to take in for that one. There's not a huge amount of information that really is game breaking. I mean, they talked a bit about the glaive, which is cool. One for each of the classes, so the hunter will have its own one, warlock will have its own one, titan will have its own one. That's quite cool. This submachine gun here, I like the look of a lot. I cannot wait to see how to get that, because I like submachine guns, and I hope they become meta, and I hope that's the boss weapon. Please let me kill a boss with a submachine gun. Yeah, some of the things are quite cool. Where is it? There's one with the barricade where he slams his, yeah. The ice wall.
All the benefits of rally barricade.
Ice wall's cool. That's going to be quite funky. I like the look of stasis. I just don't play stasis very much because I don't understand what to do with the aspects or anything. I don't think I've played through the quest enough to unlock all the aspects. That's probably why I don't really understand. I sort of just did the bare minimum for the Europa campaign to unlock stasis and stuff. So I maybe have to finish that in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. Anyway, that was quite good. I actually liked them doing that. They talked about what they're doing. Little documentary thing. I actually think that probably could be adopted by a lot of game studios. Be quite good to let you know what's new coming up and the way they talk, because seeing the enthusiasm from the developers and the designers actually is quite cool. I will be honest with you. I like that a lot. But yeah, that's a good little look. It looks quite hype. There's nothing in there about hunters. They talked a lot about titans and warlocks. Very little about hunters. I don't think Bungie like hunters. I mean, they killed the best hunter in the game, Cade 6. So, quite frankly, they obviously don't like hunters. Be interesting to see. We'll see what comes out in the next 2 weeks. We'll see what the... Still waiting on finding out when the last quest for Season Lost is that leads into that one. People thought it was going to be this week, but I haven't seen anything come out, so it's likely to be next week. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just John P, and now you can't see me. Doodles!